News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Roof Rescue. Acting on a report that a Mountain Crest High School student has contracted tuberculosis, the Bear River Health Department on Monday began contacting and testing students and staff at the school who may have had contact with the infected student. Testing was to continue today. Dr. Prafula Garg, BRHD medical director, said TB is a disease caused by bacteria that usually attacks the lungs, but can also attack other parts of the body. Dr. Garg said that TB is spread through close and prolonged contact with an individual with infectious active TB disease. It's spread through the air from one person to another, but it is not spread by shaking someone's hand, sharing food or drink, or sharing toothbrushes, or kissing. She said even though TB only develops about 5 to 10% of the time in an exposed individual, testing of exposed individuals is highly recommended in order to prevent the spread of the disease. Personnel at Mountain Crest and the Cache County School District have worked with the health department to determine which students and staff had close or prolonged contact with the infected student. Complementary testing is being made available to anyone the health department, in cooperation with the school, has identified as being at risk for exposure. Symptoms of active tuberculosis include a prolonged cough, fever, chills, night sweats, weight loss, loss of appetite, or chest pain. Anyone who would like more information can contact the TB hotline at 435-792-6567. KVNU News Time is 4:07. KVNU weather for tonight. Breezy with rain this evening. Rain showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms after midnight. Overnight low in the low 30s. South winds 15 to 25 miles an hour this evening, decreasing to 10 to 20 after midnight. And then rain in the morning, chance of snow in the afternoon, little or no accumulation, high in the lower 40s. And then slight chance of snow Wednesday night, partly cloudy, then clearing, and upper 30s on Thursday. Almost made it to 50. We might still this afternoon. It's been to 49. Right now we have 47 at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by U&I Furniture. U&I customers come back again and again because they love the quality and value they find. A family-owned 4-generation furniture store. There's always a better buy at U&I. Downtown Logan, 28 West, 1st North.
This is David from Roof Rescue. A roof is not something most people think about until they notice a leak on the ceiling. This time of year, fluctuation in temperatures, along with rain, snow, and ice, can do a number on your roof. If you notice these leaks, they won't go away on their own and are oftentimes a sign that the roof has reached the beginning of the end of its life. Call Roof Rescue for a free analysis, diagnosis, and estimate. Let's fix those leaks and keep you dry this winter. Call 435-999-4268 or visit roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
KVNU News Time is 4:08. A storm approaching Utah has the potential to cause flooding in some of Utah's mountain valley communities. Glenn Merrill, a hydrologist with the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City, said they are talking about the Heber Valley, the Wasatch Back areas up into Morgan County along the I-84 corridor and into the Upper Valley outside of Ogden. The immediate concern with the impending storm is how warm it will be. It's expected to rain in mountain valley areas, which will cause rain to fall on an abundant snowpack. Merrill says the snowpack can be labeled ripe and ready for melting during this time of year. That makes excessive rain a flooding trigger. Merrill said during midwinter, snowpacks are cold. They don't have as much water content in them, but when it ripens, it becomes an isothermal temperature. So it's the same temperature throughout, right at freezing. If you put rain on that, you're melting snow and you're adding the additional rain on top of it. There are other areas of concerns in addition to the snowpack. Merrill says normal drainage areas like small creeks, irrigation ditches, and canals can become blocked. It's not clear how bad flooding might be if it occurs at all. In situations like this, very localized flooding, sometimes referred to as nuisance flooding, is the most common type. Now, throughout Cache Valley, many local communities began offering sandbags over the weekend to residents who need them. Citizens are encouraged to contact their local city offices to get more details. And an anti-human trafficking group has saved at least 17 survivors since the beginning of the year. Candace Rivera, the founder of Exodus, an anti-trafficking nonprofit, said it is absolutely scary to choose to heal when you have that kind of trauma. One recent survivor Rivera helped in rescuing from human trafficking always carried a shattered, jagged piece of mirror that she used to do makeup before being sold for sex. Rivera said the woman described how she hated looking at herself in the mirror and felt like she was worth nothing. Exodus volunteers worked with the survivor for up to 10 days before dropping her off at the Salt Lake International Airport to fly to a safe location to get long-term aftercare. Rivera said she had gone to the airport to drop off 17 survivors already this year. KVNU News Time is 4:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs, recognizing first responders and other deserving individuals in our community. Friday mornings at 8:30 on News Talk KVNU.
People are complicated. Finances are complicated. Adams Wealth Advisors gets it. Cookie-cutter financial plans just don't fit your needs. At Adams Wealth Advisors, a team of 8 CFPs, 4 CPAs, and 4 CFAs are ready to assist you with all your financial needs. Advanced tax planning, estate planning, business strategies, retirement planning, investment management, or anything in between. Let Adams Wealth Advisors tailor your financial plan specifically to you and your needs. Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. That's AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information or to schedule an appointment.
You've heard a lot about the state's wood stove conversion program. However, you may not understand whether or not you qualify as a resident of Box Elder or Cache counties. Don't worry. Let the pros at Chim Chimney help you navigate the program. But don't delay. Sign-ups will be underway soon. Ask Chim Chimney about rebates of up to $3,800 for qualifying conversions from inefficient wood stoves for fireplaces. They sell, service, and install fireplace extraordinaire and Lopi. Visit them at chimchimney.com.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Tuesday, March 14th. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Coming up later on in the program, our good friend Keegan Garrity, frequent guest on the show for a lot of different reasons, from his work with neighborhood meetings in the Logan community in the past to his latest thing, which is he is assuming responsibility of something that has honestly been going on for a couple of years now, including a study and a long discussion with the city council on a suggestion that Logan change how it elects city council members, to change to a by-district method, the way that it was once done in Logan, done away with, and replaced with an at-large city council district model. There is a push by some to get back to that by-district, more community representation model. Keegan will be heading that up, and so he's going to join us later on today with an update on where it goes and what happens next for the group, and when the general public in Logan City will get a chance to weigh in on it. So we also have highlights from yesterday's Silicon Slopes Town Hall on the mini banking crisis. Not mini in its potential severity, but mini in that so far it's 3 banks. But they had a town hall to kind of settle nerves for both tech business owners and employees, but also the general public, after seeing the collapse of 3 Silicon Valley-related, tech-related banks, including Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and another, dissolving in a matter of days after their implosion. People worried about their money, but also about the general banking industry. And Silicon Slopes brought a lot of experts together and threw them all online in a virtual town hall. We've got some highlights from that coming up later on the program as well. We'll get things underway here today with your headlines and smooth jazz. Our contribution to the news cycle in a calmer. The headlines might not be calm, but the music at least is. This is related to what was happening with Silicon Valley Bank and questions of is your money safe and all of that. Zions Bank, their stock plummeted in the wake of the Silicon Valley Bank collapse starting last Thursday. But Utah's bank CEO said at the town hall yesterday, and again in an interview with the Tribune today, that his institution, or the institution he oversees as president, not CEO, but also the banking industry at large, something Senator Romney said yesterday as well, is resilient. It remains strong, and access to tens of billions of dollars of readily available liquidity is the case, at least his bank. So a serious thing that has happened with the Silicon tech banks that imploded, and the ripple effect, of course, will be felt somewhat, but we will not see bank runs and collapses like we saw in 2008 and 2009. Nothing close to that, even Anderson said, which he's probably right, because if we were going to see that, we would have seen it by now. Bad news, though, for Zions Bank. Moody's announced today as well they were conducting a review of Zions Bank and 6 other banks throughout the country, and potentially downgrading their credit rating. Why? Because of their high percentage of investment in the same arena that brought down SVB and more. These, basically high-risk lending to startups that the lending sometimes going beyond $250,000 of default FDIC insurance. It does present a greater risk, obviously. Just ask everyone at SVB, especially those who got their bonuses paid out hours before this news broke. Yeah, some people going to jail over that, I bet. Scott Anderson, though, said they expected this, and they are confident upon review, with only 51% of their assets in their investment funds being in this category that could be considered high risk now, or should maybe considered high risk now. Only 51% of their assets lie there, and that can be shifted pretty quickly if it becomes even more ugly. So, big question, will all this moisture help when it comes to Lake Powell, when it comes to the Colorado River, when it comes to even Flaming Gorge last summer? If you saw some of those pictures, just absolutely. I mean, Glen Canyon Dam almost stopped producing power. Pretty ugly out there. All this snowpack we're seeing in northern Utah, all the snowpack we're seeing in Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, even Arizona, seeing higher than normal snowpack. Is it putting us in a much better position? Joel Lisenby of the Regional Drought Information Center of the NOAA said, back in early December, he told the Deseret News today, the forecast was suggesting maybe perhaps below average stream flow into Lake Powell, for example, for that April through July period. But we've seen a snowpack increase, and those forecasts have increased the expected inflow we're seeing. We're currently expecting above average inflow, but pretty far from the record set in 1984, which is probably, he said, what we would need 2 years in a row to actually get back to normal in the upper Colorado River Basin. So again, the same answer on this again and again. It helps, it's great, but we need a couple of years of it in order to offset the damage done, for lack of a better phrase, of years of drought here in Utah, and the last 2 years especially of really intense drought. So JBS in Hiram is this is part of a couple of different things JBS has done over the last year. Facing a lot of businesses facing scrutiny and criticism even post-pandemic of the risks their employees take that oftentimes outside of an hourly wage that sometimes isn't high enough to be there on the job in what is basically, we learned through the pandemic, a critical industry. Anything related to food production falls into that category, obviously. So JBS in Hiram, responding to some of that, has launched several initiatives over the last year plus that are great, actually. Initiatives to help employees with education, housing, even facing emergencies and things like that. And an announcement from JBS and the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce that JBS and the Chamber, the three of them, are going to be teaming up with the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Utah. And they're going to fund the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Utah to the tune of about $260,000 in contribution. Something called the Hometown Strong Program, which is a community investment initiative launched by JBS in 2020, again, as part of a response to what we saw happen with the pandemic. What this means, CacheValleyDaily.com reporting here, the centers will establish in various locations, south, north, central areas of Cache Valley. And Jamie Andrus, President and CEO of the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce, told CacheValleyDaily.com's Charlie Schill what this will allow for is response to something that came, she said, very apparent over the last few years, that child care is an issue and is an integral component of economic development and activity in Cache Valley. And when it fell short, so did the labor force. So JBS and the Chamber teaming up with the Boys and Girls Club of Cache Valley to set up these centers, and the hope will be that it provides another very needed option for many families in Cache Valley and another option for child care. Families care where their kids are, said the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Utah. And she said, they want their kids to have better lives, providing quality, affordable child care helps them achieve that goal. So very creative initiative there from JBS, and again the Cache Chamber of Commerce helping with them with that as well. It's we've seen it again and again, and the legislature has kind of been disappointing on this issue, to be honest, when it comes to the child care options. At the same time, we saw child care be one of the most obvious driving factors of whether a person returned to the workforce after the pandemic. The legislature hasn't been willing to really do much to increase options. Utah Voices for Utah Children, very critical of that effort. If you want to see their report and their condemnation of the legislature for not looking into this and taking it more seriously. Wrapping up your headlines and smooth jazz here on Tuesday, March 14th with your This Day in History. 1794, Eli Whitney was granted the patent for the cotton gin in 1794 on this day. On this day in 1900, United States currency is placed on the gold standard. Didn't last long, of course, for reasons. This day in history in 1923, this is, Bill, you probably maybe knew this already, but on this day in history in 1923, the first ever complete start-to-finish radio broadcast of a hockey game.
I did not know that.
1923. I had no idea it was that long ago, but it's a very cool thing.
100 years ago.
That's right.
For the first hockey game on radio.
That's right.
Cool.
And this day in 2004, Vladimir Putin was reelected president of Russia, back when Russia did that type of thing. Elections. Famous birthdays today. Albert Einstein, famous physicist, if you don't recognize the name, was born on this day in 1879. The original Dennis the Menace cartoonist, Hank Ketchum, was born on this day in 1920. Music producer Quincy Jones in 1933. Actor Billy Crystal, who I'm told is pondering a comeback into romantic comedies through production and also starring in them and maybe even directing, was born on this day in 1947. Baseball player Kirby Puckett and American gymnast Simone Biles. And NBA basket player. Well, he does that. And guy I randomly ran into at the film festival, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. He was coming out of the Eccles Theater. He was in a movie there, Steph Curry. He was coming out of the Eccles Theater in Park City as I was heading in. And we just walked past each other. We nodded at each other like you do when you pass a stranger, just being courteous. And as I kept walking, I thought, was that? Nah, no way.
Was he tall?
In part, oh yeah,
yeah.
Actually, not as tall as I mean, in person, heading down a flight of stairs while I'm headed up a flight of stairs, the height didn't strike me. But then he stopped while he was waiting for his car, and I turned around and looked, and like, yeah, that might have been him. So I asked people inside, and they were like, yeah, Steph Curry just walked out. So I walked right past him on the sidewalk. He was born on this day. Happy birthday, Steph, if you remember me from not quite meeting in a stairway at the film festival this year.
He might listen to us online. You never know.
I'm sure he does. 1988 was his birthday today. In 1988, he was born. Those are your headlines and smooth jazz, and we'll be back with more For the People right after this.
Stock up during the Napa Gold Filter Sale. Through March 15th, save up to 60% on all Napa Gold filters. If it has a filter, it's on sale at Napa. You can't beat their price on diesel oil. Truckloads in stock and more on the way. Chevron 15W40, $15.89 a gallon. Napa Premium 15W40 diesel oil, $12.99 a gallon. Valvoline Blue Synthetic, $24.99 a gallon. Get stocked up on filters and oil while prices are at their best. The Napa Gold Filter Sale through March 15 at your locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts.
Napa! Where's my glasses? My contacts are hurting my eyes.
Your busy life does not have to be limited by blurred vision or the hassle of contacts and glasses. Hi, this is Dr. Landon Karen. I am a board-certified ophthalmologist with Northern Utah Eye Center. I'm excited to announce that we are now offering LASIK eye surgery. LASIK eye surgery doesn't just change your vision, it changes your life. Visit northernutaheyecenter.com or call 752-2020 to schedule your free LASIK consult today.
You're gonna love what you see.
Welcome back to KVN News For the People. Coming up, Bill, you'll have an update on the Logan Library / sandbag filling location for those who are maybe concerned about flooding right now. The story at CashValleyDaily.com on this.
If you need a book, if you need a sandbag, they've got you covered.
Both up at once,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, Logan residents only. You do have to show, as many cities are doing, you do have to show proof of residence. But they are offering, you go to the Logan Library just as if you were going, in their temporary location, of course, as if you're going to check out a book. And instead, you check out up to 10 sandbags, and then there's a big pile of sand. You bring your own shovel. And I wouldn't recommend a garden shovel or a regular-sized shovel. My recommendation, if you ever filled sandbags, a regular shovel is just too big, slightly. It's just a pain. And a garden shovel will take you days. So take one of those emergency shovels, those foldable shovels that are
there you go. Yeah.
Tucked behind the spare tire of a Jeep in the movies, or you may have one yourself. You can pick them up cheap at local hardware and outdoor stores. That's the perfect sandbag shovel. But
and those, I would imagine, depending on what happens this spring, those might be a rare commodity.
And I would, yeah, we'll talk about this later when we get to audio clips from the Silicon Slopes. Please don't cause a run on the banks town hall that occurred yesterday. We didn't have time for this on the show yesterday, and I wanted to get to what Senator Romney had to say about this. But he kind of jokes about runs and about. I don't want to cause a run on sandbags. And like the toilet paper thing, that's Romney's joke. I'll spoil it. He jokes about what the venture capitalists did to bring down these 3 banks, being similar to the completely irrational and unexplainable toilet paper shortage of 2020, which made no sense whatsoever. It was happening because everyone was filling their basements with toilet paper, but there was no reason to be doing that until they started doing that. And then suddenly there was a shortage.
Trying to go through the grocery store, and you could only get like 4 rolls or something at a time.
They were rationing toilet paper. But it wasn't because of a production shortage. It was because no one was prepared for everyone in the country to want to fill their basement with toilet paper all at once. And it was irrational, but it caused some serious issues.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a pandemic coming, so we may have to quarantine. So what do we need? This is to me, toilet paper wouldn't be the first thing that I would think of, because I figured you could always get some.
I always laugh about this. I always think of this economics professor at USU long time ago. It's saying, consumers are by and large rational creatures. No, we are not. No, we're not. And luckily that school of thought has finally trickled out of the economics study. So I don't want to cause that with sandbags, but I do want to say, take this seriously. There's already, now I haven't heard of anyone, I've heard 3 stories. One in Providence, and that involves a field at the bottom of a hill. Another story from a couple of folks I know who live on Main Street, Hiram, and then 2 families I know out in the Mendon area. They've already seen flooding. Now, it's not major. It's not causing home damage, but they have taken steps like they have in previous very wet years to channel water away from their home and away from their basement. There's a lot of snow out there. It's melting quickly, not too quickly, thankfully. But if it stays this warm for a long time, that will change. I would, if you've flooded before. So the folks I talk to who live on Main Street, Hiram, they check. There's a gutter that runs along Main Street, and if they're on a certain side of Main Street in Hiram, which runs east to west, if that gutter clogs, which, it's been frozen full of snow and road clearings all winter long, suddenly it melts off, and there are sometimes very low entrances to driveways, cement entrances, metal plates, things like that. If enough junk gets hung up on there, it'll divert the water out of the gutter right down your driveway. And folks who live on Main Street, Hiram, know about this. There's a similar situation, friends I have out in Mendon, who have a very similar situation where hillside runoff always comes down the same place. But if they take some steps with some sandbagging to divert it, it doesn't cause any problems. That's the kind of stuff that's already going on out there. So if you're prone to flooding, if you have had floods in your basement before, or you've had standing water right up to the edge of your house in the past, take some steps. Now while it's warm would be my advice. But again, don't panic. Right now, it's not, well, like I say, if it stays this warm for too long, we might see some issues with that snow melting too quickly in the mountains and the rivers coming down. And I
guess part of it is it just depends on the temperature, because parts of the mountains are, they have a winter storm warning, and they said there could be 2 feet of snow in the mountains, but to a certain level down below where the snowpack is still
rain and 40 degrees.
Yeah,
right?
Rain and 40 degrees, and if that's steady, if that does that, we could have problems. So it's just kind of hard to forecast immediately. It just it all depends on what the temperature is at a certain elevation.
Yeah, that's, perfect scenario if we're going to, we kind of want to keep getting the moisture. So perfect scenario would be we're hitting, a balmy 35, 36, 37 in the valleys, and it's staying below 32 in the mountains, even in the daytime. That would be the perfect scenario. We're seeing a lot warmer than that, obviously, this week. So, yeah, I don't want to cause a panic. I don't want to send people down to their local city sandbag filling station and have everyone just filling their yards like they did with toilet paper. So don't do that unnecessarily. But if you have flooded before, if you're seeing flooding near your home already, my guess, not being an expert, of course, but my guess, having lived here most of my life, My guess is things are going to get a little worse as far as flooding potential over the coming weeks than they are going to get better. So if you're seeing flooding now, if you flooded in the past, while it's warm, while your city has the sand piles and the sandbags available, go out and take the steps you need. We had a question from a listener on this, and I honestly don't know the answer for sure, but I do know a part of the answer. A listener wanted to know about flood insurance in Cache Valley and those recently changed maps on floodplains. And that was a couple of years ago. I do know this. The only way to get the answer you're seeking on whether your home is insured still or needs to be insured when previously you weren't in a floodplain is to call your agent. Whoever, whether it's a mutual fund or a direct agent, whoever you're insuring your home and your property through, that is the only way to get the exact answer. But those maps are available through the county if you just want to look at them. If your question is just, are you now in a floodplain, you can see those new risk assessment maps at cachecounty.org. So great question, though, from a listener coming in there. All right. On the other side, we have a lot to get to, actually. But after the news, our very own Bill Walter will update us on how things are going. The new library, the temporary library location, the temporary co-job of the library staff there of checking out sandbags at the sandbag filling station there at their temporary location. All of that. How are they doing? How's everything coming together? That library building looks to be almost completed. Well, we've got a lot of updates for you on the other side with the library director. But first, a look at the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:36, and the news is brought to you by U&I Furniture. Law enforcement is asking for the public's help in identifying a man who allegedly vandalized a vehicle near the historic Cache County Courthouse. The electric car was parked just east of the Utah Department of Workforce Services. Logan City police officers report the male suspect damaged a charging port on the electric vehicle and attempted to break into it. The vehicle received approximately $500 damage. Security photos show the suspect, who appears to have a short mustache and beard and wearing dark clothing and a black hat. Officers are asking anyone who might recognize the individual to call the Logan City Police Department. A 56-year-old man died this weekend while hiking on one of the more challenging trails inside Arches National Park. The National Park Service said rangers were called Sunday to Devil's Garden Trail after a report that CPR was in progress on a male hiker. First responders from multiple agencies, including the Grand County Sheriff's Office and Classic Air Medical, responded, but resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful and the man died on the trail. Devil's Garden Trail is one of the park's most popular, but at nearly 8 miles long, it is considered to be a difficult trail for hikers. And Nevada lawmakers are considering a significant shift in water use for Las Vegas, one of the driest major metro areas in the U.S. The water agency managing the city's Colorado River water supply is seeking authority to limit what comes out of residents' tap. Democratic Assemblyman Howard Watts of Las Vegas says a sweeping omnibus bill under consideration is a worst-case scenario plan to ensure drinking water, basic health, and safety are prioritized during dire times. The bill would give the agency the ability to cap single-family residential water in southern Nevada to about 160,000 gallons annually. The average family uses about 130,000 gallons, meaning the largest water users could be targeted. KVNU News Time is 4:39.
Most people who buy from UNI Furniture are repeat customers. They come back again and again. So it's important to UNI to sell furniture with value and quality. And UNI loves what they do. They support local manufacturers and American-made brands. UNI's line of Southern Motion specializes in reclining furniture. Best Brand Furniture offers more petite styles. And UNI just added Klosner, who has a wide range of options and takes lots of special orders. It's a family-owned 4th-generation furniture store where value and quality is and always has been offered. That's why it's always a better buy at UNI Furniture, downtown Logan.
KVNU weather for tonight, 50% chance of rain, first of all, this afternoon, and then rain this evening. Rain showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms after midnight, low in the low 30s. South winds 15 to 25 miles an hour, decreasing to 10 to 20 after midnight. Rain Wednesday morning, then a chance of snow in the afternoon. Little or no accumulation. High temperature in the lower 40s. Slight chance of snow Wednesday night, partly cloudy, then clearing on Thursday and upper 30s for the high. It's been to 49. It's 46 right now at KVNU. When you need roof repair or replacement, don't call just anybody. Call someone with the experience, knowledge, and skill to get the job done right. Roof Rescue. Call 435-999-4268. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Rochelle Hanks bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of financial advisor Sean Arnold and Edward Jones for Tuesday, March 14th. Worries stemming from bank failures remain behind the wheel for now. Following the shock from Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank failures over the weekend, the primary focus is on the broader banking system as investors evaluate the vulnerability of other similar banks. Markets are breathing a sigh of relief for now, with stock prices of many of the banks under the most pressure seeing a rebound on Tuesday. We think the combination of the announcement that all depositors of the two failed banks will be made whole, alongside the Fed's newly formed bank lending program to provide funding for deposit-taking institutions, provides a foundation of confidence in the stability of the banking system and helps mitigate the snowball effect. We expect the Fed to attempt to thread the needle of continuing to fight inflation with a tight policy while also responding to these new risks. Thus, with appropriate expectations for near-term volatility, we think investors can be opportunistic in rebalancing portfolios, upgrading quality, and adding to long-term allocations. Today, U.S. equities closed higher. The Dow closed up 336 points at 32,155. Then NASDAQ closed up 239 points at 11,428. And the S&P closed up 65 points at 3,921. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 3.67%. In stocks of local interest, Thermo Fisher is up $14.75 to $555.96. Home Depot is down 95 cents to $285.57. Autolead is up $2.43 to $92. Lowe's is down 72 cents to $196.83. Walmart is up 73 cents to $138.10. Nucor is up 81 cents to $156.24. Coca-Cola is up 22 cents to $60.03. Kroger is up 33 cents to $47.18, and General Electric is up $2.20 to $91.17. In commodity markets, the price of crude oil was down $3.26 at $71.54, and the spot price of gold was down $9 to $1,907.50. This has been today's Financial Market Report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Sean Arnold, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 1202 South Highway 89 in Logan. If you would like additional information, you can contact any of our 7 Edward Jones offices in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
Hi, Cache Valley. Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden. I enjoy giving advice about yard and garden care. In fact, some people even consider me their personal gardening Google. But now's the time for bare root plants. Great time for any kind of fruit tree like apples, pears, nectarines, or things like raspberry bushes, strawberries, grapes, onions, even blueberries. Anderson's is having their bare root sale right now. The bare root tree sale doesn't last long. Get the best selection before they're gone at Anderson Seed and Garden, 69 West Center in Logan.
If your clothes are taking too long to dry, don't run out and buy a new dryer without first checking the vent. Clothes dryer vents can get clogged with lint, and birds can even build a nest in them. If your clothes are taking too long to dry, simply check the outside of your vent, and if you don't feel a swift amount of air, it's probably clogged. Simply clean the vent, and your dryer should work like new. Or, if your vent is too long or too difficult to clean yourself, then give the Duct Hunter a call at 770-4813.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. We had some questions about the Logan Library's new building, how things are going in their temporary location, and more. It's been a weird winter. It was kind of moderate for a long time, which allowed them to get ahead of things on construction of the new Logan Library there on Main Street. And then suddenly things got cold, and then we got like 22 feet of snow. So exaggerating, of course. But how did this affect things? Are they still on target? And what does the community need to know as far as their role in all of this as well? Well, our own Bill Walter had a chance to talk to Logan City Library Director Karen Clark. Take it away, Bill.
Thank you, Jason. On the line today, we have Karen Clark, the library director for the Logan Library. Karen, thanks again for spending a few minutes with us and returning to KBN News for the People.
Oh, I'm happy to, Bill. It's nice to be with you.
And, of course, it's been a while now since you've been in your temporary location there, 950 West, 600 North, as things move right along on the new building that is going up. It's nice to see the progress on that right there, a little bit closer to the corner of 300 North and Main Street than the old library was.
It is, and we've just kind of turned the building, perpendicular, so it's along Main Street. Gives us a little more room for more parking and a larger plaza area.
That's right, a new three-story library. Does the estimated date still look like next fall for that?
Yes, we're still looking at sometime in the fall. It might be a little later in the fall than we thought. We've had some setbacks due to the cold and the wet we've had this winter.
Yeah.
It has not been a good winter. But and sometimes it was too cold for some of our subs to, work with their glue or what have you. So, yeah, so we're a little bit behind, but mainly due to weather.
Yeah,
so.
as I'm sure that's affected many projects this winter. But you have some exciting news. You've put out a call for artists for a Logan Library sculpture. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
We are. We're looking for a site-specific sculpture for the public plaza near the west entrance of our new library. It's going to highlight the library as a place of learning and community, and is complementary to the architecture of the new library, is the theme of it. And we just wanted to let everyone know that we are using donated funds for this sculpture piece, and that we have a public art committee who is helping us select the artists. They helped us select an artist for a mural that we just finished selecting the artist just this last month in the children's area. So we're really excited about that.
All right, very good. So now, is this sculpture, are you looking for any particular size for it?
It will be installed on an 8x8 concrete pad, so whatever would
fits.
fit on that.
I'm
go. Not a sculpture artist, so I don't know how that works, but I'm sure someone will come up with a really nice visual, something that helps us, show to the community that the library is a community-centered learning place, and will be open to the public.
So with this sculpture, so it would be on the east side, which will again be the main entrance for the library. Is that correct?
Well, it's actually on the west side of the plaza.
I was thinking west side, but I said east side.
The east side. We will have entries on the east and west sides of the library, which will be really nice because we'll have an entry right off Main Street. But the plaza faces on the west side. It circles in with City Hall and the police station, and then, of course, the post office and hotel. But, so it will be just on the west side, right there by the front entrance on the west end door.
Oh, very good. That's bet you're getting excited about the opening date whenever that happens, but it looks like it's going to happen maybe later in the fall, but definitely in 2023.
Yes, definitely so. And we are excited about that. And today it's a little warmer, so it makes you feel like maybe winter will let go of us and we can actually do something.
Yeah, that would be nice. And now you touched on this before, but a mural is being prepared for what will be the children's library inside the main structure.
It will be. We have a beautiful children's area designed with these two lovely trees that will highlight spring and summer, actually, for the library because they'll be in the greenish colors. And that will make our library be bright, and it's just right on the main floor where you come in, and you'll have windows that will see it from the outside. And then on the north wall of the children's area, we're going to put this mural up, and we have our artist selected, and her name is Tracy O'Very Covey, and I will actually send out a photo to you too as well, so everyone can see it. But this isn't the final, but this is pretty close to what we're going to get, and we're really excited about it. Again, the Logan City the Public Art Committee helped select the artists, and we had several to choose from and lots of good opportunities. It was very hard to choose, so we're excited though. Tracy is the one that did the mural in the Salt Lake Airport, and if anybody's been on those long hallways in there, you'll see her fun drawings in there. All right, so before the library opens, the new library, you can head down there if you have an opportunity and check it out, see her work. Yeah, that's right. All right, very good. So of course, you're continuing there at the Logan City Service Center. How are things going there, your temporary location? We're actually busier than I thought we would be. Most people have found us, which has been really nice, and for them and for us. And they, it's hard. We don't have a lot of places for people to browse or anything. We have to go get items for them. But we have access to almost all of our collection right now, and so we can go get items for people. Just a shout out too, we are doing sandbags for Logan City residents down here at the library. Patrons and the public who need them for their homes can come here with proof of address that they live in Logan, and they can get 10 sandbags, and then there's sand over here on the west side of the parking lot. Very good. And that's definitely a concern as we get into these warmer temperatures and rain in the forecast. We're hoping for the best, right? But just making preparations. All right. Well, Karen, thanks again for spending a few minutes with us here on KBNU, telling us about everything that's going on at the Logan Library. It sounds exciting with the call out for artists for a sculpture that will be there on the west side of the library. And also the mural sounds very nice that will be going into the children's library there at your new location. Karen Clark, the director for the Logan Library. And again, Karen, thanks for spending a few minutes with us here on For the People. Oh, thank you, Bill. Thanks for contacting me. And now, Jason, back to you.
Thank you, Bill and Karen, and I'm excited to see this. I as we discussed with Mayor Daines when she was with us last, this building went up pretty quick. I guess I didn't really look at the design that much, but I'm excited about the little patio there on the library.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
It's been a big time of transition for downtown Logan, so there's a lot to keep people updated on. And yeah, the great question there from listeners even asking about this over the last few weeks, where things were at on that. The library's been, as you heard from the director there, as you discussed with her, Bill, they've been able to keep almost all operations going as far as the main things a library does. But it's been obviously hugely inconvenient for them to be in a temporary location. Not even including the move to that location, which still just blows me away they were able to do that as fast as they did. But yeah, it's been inconvenient for residents as well. So good news that they are, as you heard there from the director, mostly on schedule, maybe a bit behind, but if so, not much. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's it's affected a lot of construction projects. Just the harshness of the winter this year.
It's been a weird one. It was super moderate and inviting for a long time. Construction was going on early December, in a lot of locations through the valley, and then January comes along, temperature drops down, and then
minus 15, minus 20. And then that's kind of hard to work through that when you're doing construction.
Just feet of snow. It was quite an interesting winter, and it looks like it's stacking up to be a pretty eclectic spring here as well. How did March come in? I don't even remember. Did we come in? What's this?
It wasn't.
Came in like a lion, kind of? It
wasn't too ferocious.
So it's waiting for us.
The ferociousness waited a few days, I think, after we were already in March.
That does imply that there's more to come. So fingers crossed. All right, we'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
The Cache Valley Cruising Association invites you to the biggest party of the summer as the legendary Beach Boys take the stage. Tickets are on sale now at Lee's Marketplace and the Cache Valley Cruise-In website. The Beach Boys in Logan to perform their timeless hits like Surfin' USA, California Girl, I wish they all could be California, and Good Vibrations. Their music continues to inspire generations for a night of fun, sun, and great music. Buy tickets now for the Beach Boys.
Let's go surfing now, everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me.
The Beach Boys, live in concert at this year's Cache Valley Cruise-In.
If you've been with the same insurance company for many years, you're probably experiencing rate creep. Hi, this is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance. What is rate creep? This is where your rates increase every year, but your agent doesn't have any other options for you. Auto Owners Insurance and Quality First will give you options. Quality First Insurance, 752-0101, right in front of Fisher Home Furnishings. For more information, go to q1ins.com.
You've heard a lot about the state's wood stove conversion program. However, you may not understand whether or not you qualify as a resident of Box Elder or Cache counties. Don't worry. Let the pros at Chim Chimney help you navigate the program. But don't delay. Sign-ups will be underway soon. Ask Chim Chimney about rebates of up to $3,800 for qualifying conversions from inefficient wood stoves for fireplaces. They sell, service, and install Fireplace Extraordinaire and Lopi. Visit them at chimchimney.com.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News, a deeper look at loosened regulations that were initially designed to prevent another financial meltdown. Guess who lobbied to soften the rules? Also, a perk is disappearing at the top of many companies, too. Hear what's happening with executive assistants these days, and the scams to watch for if booking a short-term vacation rental. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Speaking of flood damage, I'm doing a horrible job, Bill, saying earlier in the hour I didn't want to create a panic and then to talk about all this potential flooding. It's just, we're in an area right now where...
So you're sending people in droves to Home Depot right now or something, but not really.
Don't do that. Don't go clear out the shelves of sandbags. Don't go to your city's sandbag filling location and clear them out. Well, they won't let you. It's usually a limited number they're giving out to each household. But don't panic. But at the same time, I would take the potential for flooding very seriously right now, just based on, living here most of my life, but also all of the conditions we're seeing weather-wise, the amount of moisture out there already, the amount of snow that has not become running moisture yet, in general snowpack, where the rivers are already, if you look at some of these. So anyway... with that in mind, don't panic, but take steps. An article on that at CacheValleyDaily.com right now, just posted there actually on the front page. The USU Extension Disaster Education Network is offering some tips on flood preventing your home. Not really a way to flood proof it if you're in a floodplain, but you do a lot to prevent damage. Of course, keeping water out of window wells and away from the home's foundation in any way you can. But also just going out, checking the sump pump, clearing downspouts, making sure that there is an escape route for flood waters, making sure the water has somewhere to go so it doesn't just become a lake in your front yard. All of these steps, while it's warm especially, can be taken now and save you a lot of headache later when it might not be so warm, because that tends to be the case here in Cache Valley. If we do flood early in the spring, it's usually followed by sub-zero temperatures for a few weeks. That's hour one of today's show. We'll kick off hour two with our friend Keegan Garrity here in the studio. Will give us an update on